everyone, this is T-Drop and welcome to the 10,000 subscribers special. It's coming out a bit after hitting 10k, but I really wanted to do something special for you all. I actually redrew my avatar. I figured it was time. It's been about 2 years. My art style has improved. My hair is completely different, and I just really wanted to undertake redesigning my avatar to more reflect myself. So I hope you enjoy the new avatar. I love her so much. So today, in addition to the Q&A that I'll be doing myself in response to your questions, you'll also hear from all the voice actors who I've been working with long enough for them to have voiced more than 3 characters. So obviously that means you're not going to be hearing from every single voice actor I've ever used. I'm sorry, but you're hearing from the regulars at this point. They were all amazing sports about recording their answers to your questions, and I just know that without them, I wouldn't have this channel. So I'm just gonna jump right in, introduce them, and let you hear what they have to say. First up is Henry, or Dark Crater. He and I go back farther than anyone else I've worked with. I'll talk more about that later. Here's what he had to say.
Hello everyone, my name is Dark Crater, and I have the special privilege of being the first voice actor that T-Drop has used for the channel. It's been a long journey. It's been around 3-4 years since the very first message I received on Fiverr from T-Drop asking me if I would like to record for her. It was quite a special moment since I hadn't been on Fiverr for very long before that. I wasn't so sure that this whole voice acting thing would work, but T-Drop gave me a chance, and I was able to have a wonderful time reading all these fantastic stories that she wrote, from Blood Blockade Battlefront to a spin-off to Attack on Titan with the characters of Erwin and Levi, as well as a few things of her own. And it's been wonderful seeing her grow as a creator and the channel grow as well, and seeing all of you fantastic fans growing with the community and all wonderful comments that you leave, and all the other voice actors coming in and bringing new voices and bringing new stories to life. And it's been really wonderful, especially seeing the collaborations between people, and it's just been really nice. So I have a few questions from T-Drop that I'd like to answer for you, and one of them is about which is my favorite character to voice. I've had the pleasure of voicing a few, some of them far more than others. But I'd probably say some of my favorite characters to do have probably been Klaus and Erwin, since I always sort of enjoy playing the sort of gentle giant with a much deeper and slow cadence in their voice, and sort of this confidence that it can exude has been really wonderful and really exemplifies traits that sometimes I like to bring into my own life. In terms of characters that I might hope to play in the future, I think I would like to play a character who's a bit more evil, a bit more dastardly, with a malicious, well, hopefully not too malicious, but sort of a bit more sneaky, evil vibes, you know. Evil mastermind sort of character would always be kind of fun to play, and bring it into a more sort of cartoonishly evil sort of vibe would always be quite fun. I've had the pleasure of recording a very large amount for T-Drop. I think they've kind of mostly centered around a few stories, with Blood Blockade Battlefront being the main one, and then the spin-off with Attack on Titan. I think there have been a few side ones. It's been a few years. I think it's always been really nice to see how it's grown over the years, and since I would mostly voice both sides of the relationship, with the smaller, bratty character and the gentle, confident, strong giant character, has always been quite enjoyable. And I think I've really enjoyed sort of doing those ones where you sort of see the dynamics between, in the Blood Blockade Battlefront, where they sort of experiment a bit more over time and try and really explore other areas for themselves to see what they might enjoy, you know, and obviously bringing a few fantasy elements into it as well was quite fun, and it's nice to see. And I also had the pleasure to be the very first VA that T-Drop ever hired, which is quite a privilege and one that always makes me smile to see how hopefully I've contributed positively to growing the channel, growing this lovely community. Thank you all for supporting T-Drop and us voice actors in order to do this. It's fun to record, fun to read, fun to see your reactions, and I hope that one day it inspires you all to try your own things. And if not, I hope you're able to enjoy the stories as well. And thank you again.
Oh, it's so great hearing from Henry, the OG, the first T-Drop VA. Next up, we have the gentleman who's really the reason my channel took off. We have Tyler, or Cass, or King's Choice Voice, and here's what he has to say in answer to your questions.
Hello, my name is Cass, King's Choice Voice, the bully, really whatever you know me as. I'm a voice actor for T, and or T-Drop, as you may know her. And I gotta say, it's pretty awful working with her. I'm just kidding. It's actually really great. She's very friendly, she's awesome to be around, and just all around, just a great person to talk to. Honestly, a really great friend too. I've been voicing for her for quite a while now, and I gotta say, every new script that she comes at me with is just really awesome. You know, I love voicing everything that she brings my way because it really is just a new experience every time. And obviously, the 3 characters, if I voiced more than 3, which I have, I really gotta say the bully is probably the best ones, all 3, because it's just like that was the defining role for me on T's channel, and a lot of people like my voice, so I don't know, I guess that's just me now. I got into voice acting from Fiverr though. I was actually doing that for several years until I started hitting it big. And by big, I mean audiobooks. I'm not like in Hollywood yet, but you know, a man can dream. But here's to 10,000 more T, and I am really looking forward to seeing how this channel grows and what more content you come out with.
Thank you, Tyler, for being more than half of the characters on my channel. You're awesome. Up next, we have Gaius, or Count Howl. He's a fellow YouTuber, so he knows what's up, and this is what he had to say.
Hi there, I'm Count Howl. My real name is Gaius. I've been doing audio with T-Drop since August of 2023 or so. It's been a lot of fun so far. She has me do roles that I'm not really as used to. She likes to hire me for my soft voice, where everyone else likes to hire me for my very dramatic, serious voice. She likes my very soft, very kind and gentle voice, which is just fun. It's a time when I get to act out a role that I'm not as used to and practice something that I don't get to practice all the time. One of the roles that I did with her was a boy who was taking care of a fairy. And it was very interesting because, first of all, I thought it was bizarre. Like, who wants to pretend they're a fairy and I'm helping to heal them? But once I got into it, I kind of pulled from the fact that my family has run a dog rescue for many years, and I worked there for 8 years. And I just kind of naturally started to remember taking care of sick, injured dogs, little puppies, things like that, where you have to be very gentle and, hey, you know, I'm not trying to hurt you. Let me see your paw. I know this is gonna sting, but I have to do it. I'm so sorry, you know. And you're trying to be as gentle as you can while still doing the things you have to do in order to make them, you know, be healed and okay. So I thought that was an interesting role, and I hope that she continues to come up with unique ideas like that, and that they continue to be successful. Congratulations, T-Drop, on 10K. I hope that I can catch up to you soon, and that by the time I catch up to you, you're even further ahead. Thank you all for listening. I'm so glad you all appreciate what we're doing over here.
Thank you so much, guys. It's great hearing from you. And now for all my cutesy characters, Arden VA or Isotopic Productions is such a great fit. I think they're going to go so much farther than what they're doing now, not just on my channel, but in general. They're voice acting and getting much bigger gigs than me, and I'm really excited for them, and this is what they had to say.
Oh.
Thank you, Arden, for always being down for the hyper or cutesy boys on my channel. Similarly, though, Echo VA has played a few soft and sweet cutesy characters as well, and this is what he has to say.
Hey, I am Echo VA. Working with T-Drop, well, it's very easy, simple, straightforward, and, well, I really enjoy it. It's not like rushing or anything. She's respectful. It's all great. My favorite character I've done is the Bunny Boy. I love the Bunny Boy. I wish there's more Bunny Boy. And the type of characters I do are like kind of like young adult teenager type characters, I guess. And characters I hope I can do are, I really want to be a prince, or like a villain, or like a demon lord prince, or something like that. But yeah.
Thank you, Echo. I really look forward to getting more of the Vessel Boy out in the future. And last but not least is Michael Hagiantonis. He is probably the second most prolific voice actor on my channel. I use him almost the same amount as I use Tyler, and this is what he had to say about everything.
Hi, my name is Michael Hagiantonis, and I'm an actor, voice actor. Been working with T-Drop now for, let's see, when was the first order? Been a while. I feel like it's been over a year. Oh, no way. August 2021. So not a long time, not just a year. So what is it like working with T-Drop? It's great. She's one of my, if not my favourite customer on Fiverr. I mean, all the instructions are really, really clear, and the texts, the scripts are really, really interesting, really inventive, really imaginative, and yeah, really, she peppers them with lots of nice direction as well to kind of keep you on track. It's been a blast. It's been really good. Yeah, I feel very, very lucky. If you voiced more than 3 characters, which is your favourite? That's a hard one. I feel like the werewolf alpha stuff I really enjoy. The voice is really it's really fun to sort of throw yourself into and it can kind of take over in a way. I get kind of lost in it, and I find the story and the scripts very exciting and dark, and yeah, really, really enjoy that one. Him or the Wayfarer, the kind of, I did a sort of Russian kind of Eastern European accent for. That was a really fun read. That was quite from what I remember, he's a very kind of jovial and warm character, and that was nice. Tonally, it was different to the more kind of brooding and dark stuff. What got you into voice acting? Well, I've been doing silly voices and accents since I was a kid, really. I mean, my parents showed me a home video of me when I'm like 6, reading this like jungle story to my little sister, and doing all these different voices for the different animals, and yeah, later in school I would do lots of impressions of different TV shows and prank call the kind of local shops and that kind of thing. It's always something that I've done, and I've really enjoyed doing, and you know, being a big fan of video games growing up and animation, being like, yeah, I'd love to do that when I grow up. It'd be amazing to do, you know, to sit there and just do all kinds of crazy voices. So I'm really, really grateful that this is kind of what I'm doing for a living now. So yeah, started out on Fiverr, little freelancing website, and kind of built up from there, and It's been 3 years now, and I've been full-time for just over a year. So yeah, early doors. I'm 27, so yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see where the future goes. But I do all kinds of acting as well. I do like theatre and film, but that stuff is kind of few and far between at the moment. So yeah, the voice acting's been perfect for me, really. It's really come through. What type of characters do you like to play, and do you hope that T-Drop will do a specific character for you in the future? Ooh, I'm really open to everything. I think the thing about T-Drop's characters are there's lots of dimensions to them, and it's not just the stereotype or a trope, and that's always much more exciting, and especially when there's sort of contrasting elements to the character, because I think that's something that like lesser writers don't really think about. They think, okay, for a character to be a character, it has to, be consistent, which is true, but everyone has contrasting elements to them, and I think when writers are too afraid to pursue that or to show those layers in their characters, it can make for something quite 2D, and that's something that Victoria, I think, always manages. So yeah, I guess characters that are complex and interesting, and I'm open to anything, up for anything. I mean, anything that kind of stretches the accents or the voices. That's always really fun.
T-Drop has always been a pleasure to work with. Her stories are super creative, and she always fleshes out the dialogues in a way that makes it quite unique. It has been always a pleasure working with T-Drop. Kind of life has, separated us from working together, busy personal stuff life, but it has always been a pleasure working with her. My 3 favorite characters, if I had to say, the Cinderay Dragon is by far my favorite, but second place is definitely the Dilf, and finally the Vampire Boss, which was the first one that got us to work together. When she saw my first video and she proposed that she could work and write some scripts for it, and when I read it, I fell in love. It was really good, and that's what kind of got us into it. And yeah, what got me into voice acting, it was just like a quarantine thing back in 2020. I had just gotten out of a really depressive period, and I had gotten my welfare check. I was not that well financially, and I needed something to occupy myself, and it kind of blew up on YouTube. I got to meet T-Drop. We worked together for a few months, almost a year, I think, actually. Now that I think about it, more than a year probably. I don't remember. I'm not good with numbers, but yeah, that's kind of how it all started, and it's been compounding ever since. What type of characters do I like to play the most? Villains. It's not even like I love doing villains. I've taken a lot of projects currently, so I'm not sure about future plans to voice. I've been doing a lot of villains, romancy characters, some gigs and gags for voiceovers mostly. I'm taking my own projects right now, animation, VTuber stuff, streaming stuff, content. So, I have a lot on my mind currently. But yeah, that's kind of how it goes.
I am so blessed to have such amazing people working with me. I hope to hear new voices more regularly in the future, as well as familiar ones. So I look forward to working with everyone. All right, now I'll jump into the Q&A for myself. If you were just here for the voice actors, then you can tap out here, but for everyone else, I'll be answering your questions. And these questions were submitted by you lovely people on various platforms of mine, so I'll just jump right in here. First question, where do you find your voice actors? It was Fiverr initially when I first realized, I could pay to have someone read out my work. And that was back when I was only looking to have my sprawling fanfics recorded just for myself and for AO3. Henry, or Dark Crater, was the first voice actor I worked with on Fiverr, and the only one I worked with for a few years. It was just for personal use and posting on my AO3, and now I use a combination of Fiverr, Twitter, and just connections through the people I already work with, and that's how I find new people. It's been really great to be a part of a few voice acting communities and be able to work with a variety of talented people. I never thought that this is where my life was headed or that I would end up in this community, but I am so grateful to be part of it. Last time you were sick, and would you usually get extra needy or suffer in silence? I got really sick with a terrible flu in March. Just horrible. And it's currently April at the time of recording, but that was the worst I've felt since getting the big virus, and that was the worst experience I've had being sick in my entire life. Just horrible. So this flu was pretty bad. And recently I was in a horrendous car crash, for those of you who don't know, and so it doesn't count as being sick per se, but I was laid pretty low recovering from that. I'm still technically recovering from that. My legs still hurt, but it was a miracle. Everyone's fine. At the time of recording, the accident was about a month ago. I'm still dealing with the ripple effects, but I'm okay. And so when I'm sick or suffering, I appreciate my loved ones taking care of me by bringing me food or giving me hugs, but overall, I just want to curl up into a blanket cocoon and be left alone. So I don't exactly suffer in silence, because I will accept help gladly, but I'd rather burrow into my bed and watch YouTube than, say, cuddle up with my husband for an hour. That's just how I roll. So kind of a combination, but overall, I guess I suffer in silence. I don't know. How do you like your tea? Dark and sweet. Black teas are my favorite, but even fruitier teas I like steeped really strong. That way, if it's too strong, I can at least dilute it with water later. But if you make a weak tea, you're kind of just stuck with weak and watery tea, and it sucks. I really like my tea chilled, and I only drink it hot if it's super cold outside. And even then, in the middle of winter, I just prefer chilled tea. Or if I'm sick, that's the only other time I'll drink it hot, is if I need to make lemon tea with honey. Oh my gosh, just universal sick tea. Okay, so I am mashing 3 questions together and giving a very long answer here because they're all very related to each other, or they're basically the same question. The questions are: what inspired you to make artwork and ASMR videos? What was the motivation behind your channel? What inspired your characters? And what's your biggest source of inspiration? So I guess that's 4 questions. As far as artwork, I've always been artistically inclined. I've always loved creative writing and drawing since I was a kid, and thankfully both were encouraged by my parents from a young age. I'm like the poster child for a creative type who can't make their brains understand college-level mathematics at all, but I can draw. And I've been a digital artist for many years now, and the only reason I started illustrating for my own videos was just because I could. I knew that I could just slap text on a stock background image if I wanted, like a lot of people do, and there's no one forcing me to design each and every character that I write, but once I know something is in my capacity, it becomes kind of like a personal challenge to do that. So just knowing that I have the means to create 100% original work, from me script writing to the artwork of the characters, is just something that I knew I had to do. As far as motivation or inspiration, I was influenced by ASMR since I found the genre in 2014-ish. I usually watched and still favor the videos with creators in front of the camera doing role plays. Then somewhere around, I want to say 2017-ish, I stumbled on the anime character ASMR role plays. And at first, they just popped up on my feed, I think because of the My Hero craze, and I became interested because it seemed like another branch of fan fiction, but I quickly learned it wasn't for me because Personally, I don't like self-insert fanfics. It actually takes me out of it, ironically. So I quickly enjoyed the videos with original characters in audio form much more. This led me to discover my biggest inspiration, Hollow VA. Hollow has an extensive number of worlds and characters and storylines, all of which he crafts himself, and he voices all of the characters in various accents. I know there's bigger and more well-known creators like Cardlin or Good Boy Audios, but Hollow is my personal favorite and the one I listen to faithfully. No matter what he uploads, I will listen to it. I'll drop what I'm doing, I'll listen to it. And I am so impressed by his creativity and his sense of humor, and I strive to be 1/100th as creative as him with my world building and characters with an ASMR coat of paint. That being said, around 2020, I stumbled upon a small creator at the time called Kindred Spirit. I got a vampire audio in my Up Next, and I was really taken with his deep voice and his Brazilian accent, and I really enjoyed it. It was very sexy, and I loved it so much. And I wanted to see a continuation of that audio so much that I commented on the video asking if he needed anyone to write scripts for him. And I will go into more detail about why I even offered to write when I'm answering a later question, but I'll skip over that for now. The short version is I had been writing stories for Henry to record and consuming ASMR for years at that point. And I realized there was really no reason I couldn't write ASMR stories too, and the thought of hearing what I'd written being acted by such a lovely voice for their channel was exciting. Kindred was more than happy to take me on as a writer after I sent him my version of a follow-up script to that vampire audio that I'd first heard, and after that we worked together for over 2 years, and I was privileged to gain so much experience and also watch his channel grow from less than 2,000 subs when I found him to over 50,000 now. The last time I checked, it might be even higher. We're still on really good terms, but we parted ways. One, because of a substantial development in my personal life that meant I had no creative fuel or time to write anymore, and two, honestly, I just got exhausted writing exclusively for a female audience. Kindred's main viewership was female, fair enough, but I'd always wanted to try gender neutral or male for male and try and double the audience, but Kindred didn't want to do that, which is totally fair. It's his channel that he was building, and I was just a contributing factor. He paid me to write what he wanted after we'd brainstormed together, and we were good friends, and working with him and being part of his community helped me get through the pandemic because this all happened literally as the pandemic was starting. But the fact was, after working with Kindred, I really wanted to do more than chasing the trends and pleasing the algorithm with trashy audios or characters that might be popular on YouTube at the time, but I just wasn't feeling it. And for Kindred, it made sense. He wanted it to become his main source of income, so that was very important. But for me, trying to be creative and just put out a good product meant more, and having to churn out kind of tropey things at such a rate because I was writing one script almost like once a week. I was writing a script every single video every weekend was a script I'd written, and I was just getting burnt out because I ended up not caring about most of them by the end. And Kindred's gained such success for himself on multiple other platforms at this point, to where YouTube isn't his main gig anymore, and I'm so happy for him, and I'm so grateful for the experience I got working with him. All that to say, once I was ready to start writing again, I realized there was literally nothing stopping me from just starting my own channel and having full creative freedom. I'd had a channel that I'd been posting the audiobooks of my fanfictions on, and I'd just been doing that for over a year maybe. My sense of time is so warped at this point, but I'd just been doing that to share with a very niche audience that might want to listen or find me from AO3. So I just started making the audios into videos and having some artwork done, like fan art of my fanfiction. Because I wanted to do something with all the recordings at that point rather than just listening to them on my own or link the audio files on AO3 with the text of the stories. So I'd been posting on my channel for a while before deciding to try posting a few ASMR videos and seeing what would happen. And at that time I had about, I think, 250 subscribers over like the year plus that I'd been on there. And after working with Henry for so long, I decided to search for other voice actors on Fiverr, and that's how I found Tyler, who voiced the very first 2 audios I decided to try out. That would be the merman that you rescue and, of course, the school jock. Now, the merman audio was a personal achievement for me. It was the reason I started with that one was because it was a script that I'd written for Kindred way back at the beginning, and he'd even recorded it, but for various reasons he just decided never to go through with sharing it. I guess he thought it was too dark and not sexy or fluffy enough, I don't know, which is fair. So for me, I had been really proud of the concept I'd written, and I knew where I wanted to start. If I was going to post ASMR, I wanted to start with the script that I never got to use, basically. And it did much better view-wise than any of my fan fictions because, of course it did. It's ASMR. That as a tag will get you way more clout in the algorithm. Around the same time, of course, I messaged Kindred for the first time in a while and told him what I was up to, asked if I could reuse any of our scripts since initially they were male for female and I'd be converting them into male for male like I'd always wanted, so it wouldn't be direct competition with him. And he gave me permission to reuse any of the scripts that I had written because they were technically mine as well, apart from a few of our most popular series together. And then the second video I posted was the school jock audio, and the rest is history. So that is my very long answer to those 4 questions about my inspiration, what got me started. That's my long journey of inspiration and motivation. What are your favorite types of scripts to do? Is there any way you go about making scripts? What is your most favorite script that you've made? Again, I'm mashing 3 questions together here because they're fairly related. I'd say my favorite types of scripts are any scripts involving more than one speaking character. Those are the absolute best to me. It just feels so much more dynamic and rich when there's multiple characters serving multiple purposes. As far as genre, I love writing anything based in fantasy settings because as long as you stick to your own creative rules, you can literally do anything you want. Anything is possible and plausible, and that is so much more fun to me than writing stories set in the here and now. It just doesn't mean I hate modern settings. I love fluffy domestic crap that's sweet enough to make you sick, and I can at least appreciate the school character role plays like the popular kid or the jock or the bully. I just get a bigger kick out of the fantastical, and that includes modern fantasy, finding a way to have a modern setting but with fantasy elements. The actual process of writing out the scripts used to be just me all on my own, but recently, considering how much I'm terrified of burnout, I've been hiring other writers to basically give me a rough draft or a first draft of my idea, and after I get the rough draft, I'll usually rewrite the entire thing, which I know sounds pointless, but having a base to work with weirdly makes me write 3 times as fast and find so much more inspiration than starting with a blank page. But I've definitely used full scripts with just a few tweaks before that other people have written since I found more competent writers. And I always credit my drafters in my description boxes, and I'll link them down in this one too. As far as picking a favorite script that I've written, it's literally impossible. I mean, it's like asking me which is my favorite child, and overall, I hate answering what is your favorite blank because everything is so different. Anything you could ask, what is your favorite, everything is so different. So I usually respond with, well, here's my top 3. So this answer might be cheating, but in terms of scripts, in terms of series, instead of individual scripts, I'm really proud of the Ancient Lost Treasury series, the Naga series, the Loyal Knight series, and pretty much all my audio dramas that involve multiple characters. So again, kind of cheating, but top 3 favorite types of scripts are definitely the long-running multiple character series, because I say that it's storytelling disguised as ASMR, and yes, they have ASMR elements, but at that point, technically, they kind of become more audio dramas, which is kind of my goal. BBC radio drama I am not, but dang it, a girl can dream. What is your favorite character that you created on this channel, and what is your favorite ASMR roleplay? Again, it's impossible to pick an exact favorite because they're all different, and I'm very proud of all of them in different ways. It would be easier to tell you which ones I think are just meh, or that I don't like very much, or that I didn't even end up using that you guys don't even know about, but I don't want to do that. I'll say though that, again, picking 3 off the top of my head, top 3, I do love Rakid the Naga, the Dragon King, and Brutus the Gladiator. Those are my current top 3 that I am really I really like those characters just as the viewer and as a listener, as opposed to just the creator. And it's hard to say anything more because I have other characters coming that I really love as well that I might put into one of the top 3 slots, but I don't want to spoil anything. Favorite ASMR roleplay is even harder to answer because it literally depends on what I'm in the mood for. I used to fall asleep every single night to ASMR, and at that time it was like spa treatment videos, hair brushing videos, and just in general anything that Latte ASMR uploaded. Now though, ASMR is more a background to my artwork and writing time, so it just depends on which combination of sounds and voices or roleplays I feel like. Instead of trying to definitively answer that, because it's impossible, I'll just shout out some of the ASMR artists I listen to the most frequently. So that would be Latte ASMR, of course, Calamity ASMR, Atmosphere is amazing, Mylin ASMR, Salem Audios, Hollow VA. There's a few more, but those are the main ones I listen to a lot, and I will link all their channels below if you're interested in checking out any of them. They're all very different. How do you come up with your characters? It really depends. Sometimes inspiration strikes me out of the blue, or because of an interaction or a discussion with someone else, and other times I dedicate time to making lists of character types that I could flesh out into enjoyable storylines. It's a lot of brute force sometimes, where I just force myself to think of characters at this point, since I'm putting out a video once a week. A lot of times too, though, I'm inspired by other videos that I see, just in terms of base characters like vampires, mob bosses, incubus, whatever. Just seeing something similar, but wanting to have a different take on it. Okay, I'm going to do a quick speed round with a few favorite questions here. Favorite artist, favorite book, favorite animal. Van Gogh and Mariah Elizabeth, and no, I'm not sorry. The Dresden Files, because Jim Butcher is a legend. Either a fox, because of its cunning and cuteness, or a wolverine, because they're basically indestructible, no joke, super creatures. And also really fluffy and cute. Oh, you might hear a train in the background for this segment. What do you do when you can't sleep? I have struggled with insomnia due to anxiety since graduating college, no surprise. As a kid, though, if ever I had a sleepless night, I had a trick where I would switch everything on my bed to the opposite end. So I'd flip around to lay with my head at the foot of the bed instead, with all my blankets and pillows. And I don't even know when or why I started doing that, but it worked every time. I don't know if it was just a small change in my environment that kept my brain from getting bored or what. I don't know. Now, though, I have ASMR. I don't have to think myself to sleep anymore because ASMR does that for me, and also medication that works very well for me. So because of that combination of things, it's not really an issue right now. It hasn't been for a while, and I don't even listen to ASMR to sleep anymore. That's how well the medication has worked for me. But if ever I can't sleep now, I'll just roll over, turn on YouTube, and let it play to keep my mind focused until I fall asleep. Probably not the best thing to do, but that's my answer. Pineapple on pizza, yay or nay? I've never tried it, so I can't say for sure. I'd love to say that it's an abomination, but then again, so is spinach on pizza, and I love that, so I guess you all can fight about it in the comments if you really want. If you were to do a Pokemon or human anime game character ASMR, who would be the first character you would like to do? I've dabbled with the idea of doing specific anime character roleplays before, but it's just not where my interests lie. If ever I did something with a specific character, though, it would probably be kind of a low point, like for boosting views and subscribers, which, yeah, it might, but I'd feel a bit scummy doing that because my real passion is just to create all original content, and it's hard to say that if I'm pumping out, like, I don't know, Todoroki and Bakugo fight over you ASMR, or Levi Ackerman reluctantly confesses his love for you ASMR, or whatever. Like, it's just not me, and it's just not what I do. I mean, don't get me wrong, I will write an 80,000 word fanfiction about Levi and Erwin doing doctor-patient kink play and feel no shame. But in a listener insert ASMR format, it's just not what I'm about. Just checking in to ask about the ongoing Naga series that involves the Treasury and Rahid. How many remaining parts are there? And if there's going to be a part 4, how much progress has been made so far? Okay. Who are you, my manager? I'm kidding, I don't have a manager. But for real, I don't have a specific number of parts planned out, but I do have a rough storyline plotted out. So there will be quite a few videos coming, I can say that. When and how quickly is harder to say, but what I can say is that every character we've met so far will at least have their own dedicated video, as well as a few more videos with multiple characters to finish out the story. So my plan is to tell a complete story, beginning to end. There will be more coming to answer you directly about part 4, aka the next installment at this point in recording. The script is finished, and it is waiting for the voice actor to record it. So the script is finished, the artwork is finished, and I am just waiting for the voice actor to record it, so soon. Will there be more collabs in the future? I'd love to do as many collabs as I can, but I've found out that I should plan around collabs carefully. And I say that because, for example, the Cat Dads that everyone loves is a collab with Malum on YouTube, and he has his own greatly successful YouTube channel. He's not posting much anymore because he doesn't have a ton of time, but that collab was just meant to be a bit of fun, and then that video took off so much that I realized I'd have to hire him for more work to continue that story because everyone loved it. And so it's turned from a collab into a working relationship at this point, because I'll need the character to return with some frequency. And because of that experience, I realized it's tricky to come up with storylines and characters that could potentially do very well because of the collab, but also not so well that I have to rely on that other creator for a ton of future installments. So cautiously, I would say I would love to collab with pretty much anyone that has good mic quality and good acting ability, but also I have to put more work in to decide who they play, whether it's just a cameo or whether it's a full series or whatever, so I'd have to decide whether that could be sustainable. I've noticed that most of your characters are soft boys. When will there be more dominant, possessive characters in the future? And that brings me to the end of this Q&A. Thank all 10,000 plus of you for enjoying my work enough to be here and supporting me, which in turn supports all these amazing voice actors. And if you ever have a script suggestion, please drop me a comment here on YouTube or Patreon, Twitter, Discord. I will at least think about it. Worst case scenario, I say no. Best case scenario, it could become a 12-part series. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to bring you more characters and stories in the future. Bye!